Hi guys, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Marshall,
And I'm Sangeeta
and today we're going to talk about how to get an agent
in Australia. So the first thing you're going to need is a headshot. And no, that is not a selfie on your phone. Here are some examples of a good headshot.
And here are some examples of headshots you should not really be using.
So for headshots, there's two ways you can go about it. You can go to a professional headshot photographer, or you can do it yourself if you have a camera, or even if you've got a friend who's into photography and they're able to help you out. A really easy way to get a good headshot is in the doorway of your house. You know, if you've got natural light coming out your face, and then especially if you've got a kind of like dark background, which is why a door frame is so good, because you've got like the depth behind you and the light on your face. So it's always good to be wearing a block color or a neutral color. Not wearing a lot of makeup if you are going to wear makeup, something that's going to still show your natural features. And it's also good to show a range of emotions. And these don't have to be super drastic unless you're going for something comedic, but something that's kind of subtle but shows that you can do different things.
Why a good headshot matters is because that agents, you can imagine, go through so many applications, even throughout the day, that having a good headshot makes a difference between standing out from a crowd as opposed to just being another actor who's trying to get into the agency.
Yeah, and I would say too, headshot is not the same as a model shot or a photo shoot. You know, it's not about looking good or showcasing how pretty you are, or, it's about showcasing a personality and emotion. The next important thing you're going to need is a showreel.
Why the showreel is important is because it obviously shows the type of actor and the type of person you are to the agent. And I know a lot of actors starting out, they might be stressing, saying, oh, how do I get one? You know, I need to just go about and film a bunch of stuff. Well, a good way that you can do this is just go on Star Now or any website that's looking for either student film actors or short film actors. And from that, you can easily just build up a portfolio that you can add onto the reel. So, I mean, that's what we did. And I'm pretty sure a lot of actors do that when they first start out.
Yeah. And if you are really starting out, you can film at least a self-tape. Do like at least a very nice setup with, a blank wall in the background and a piece that's going to show emotion. That's if you don't have access to this stuff yet, but you want to look for an agent now. But of course, it's good to have a body of work before you do reach out to agents. And one thing I would say about the showreel is that show range, as you said, but I would also say the most important thing is, even if you've only got one scene, to show a beat change. So an emotional change within that one scene to show that you can do more things. It's not just like one emotion.
And at the essence of it, the show reel is meant to show who you are as a person, and not just that, but the type of projects that you wish to be in the future. So, if you want to do one certain, style of acting and in one particular style of film, like drama, then it's probably best to showcase a lot of drama and not just, comedy, thriller, all this other stuff.
And also make sure that if you are doing a scene with another actor, that you're the main focus of that scene. So the agent isn't, because sometimes they really don't have time. And I would also say the length, not longer than 2 or 3 minutes. Even 1.5 minutes is really good, because they just don't have time. So if they're clicking onto your showreel and they're watching the first 20 seconds and it's another actor instead of you, that's not a good thing.
The next thing that you have to do is write an actor's CV.
Yes. So actor's CV is different to a normal CV. And here's an example on the screen now of an actor's CV. So you basically have headings like TV, film, theatre, commercial. and then you write down the projects that you've done under those headings. And also you have a section that's experience and special skills. So this is going to show what experience you have and what you've done, where you're kind of at as an actor. If you've won any awards or anything, absolutely put that on there. So it's very important to showcase your best work on the CV. If you don't have much experience, it's still good to put whatever you have on there rather than no CV at all, and they're kind of left wondering, well, what have you done? So the next step is to do your research and research who do you want to be represented by.
I see a lot of actors make this mistake, which is just applying to every single agent that they can, hoping to get a response from at least one of them. It's very important that you at least have 4 or 5 agents that you really want. And like Sangeeta was saying, the only way that you can do that is just by doing a ton of research on the background of who they are, who they represent, and also what sort of work do they get their actors in. You know?
Yeah. And how you can find them. Of course, you can type in whatever city you're based at, so Sydney agents, and look up that way. But a really easy way to find a good list of agents is if you have IMDb Pro. And then you can actually go onto the Pro, you can type in the city, and it will give you a list of the agents in that city. And you just go through the list, go to their website, check it out.
Make sure the agent that you want to go with suits who you are. Like, for example, if you're an ethnic Australian actor or an ethnic actor, don't apply to agents that don't have any ethnic actors in their books, because most likely you're not going to have a big chance to get into that.
Sometimes, I know in college, they would tell us that if there's no one on the book who looks like you, that's a good thing. And sometimes it is, and you can have a C. But yeah, if it's just, there's not even one ethnic person on the book, I would be a little bit like, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Another point with new actors is that you go to the top of that agent list and you see the top agents in Australia, and obviously, like, that's what I want to go for. And the problem that comes sometimes with that, even if you were to get onto the book of an agent that's representing people like Chris Hemsworth, yeah, that's a win, but sometimes it's not that great, because if you're not a known actor, they're obviously going to focus on their higher profile clients, and sometimes you can get lost.
So it's all just about finding the right fit for you, because some agents, you know, they might be a bit smaller or their books are smaller, but they'll work with you more closely. And ultimately, that's the relationship that you want with your agent.
Yeah, you want to be able to go back and forth with them and be able to reach out to them and have them reply when you want, and not get lost amongst a sea of other actors. Because it's not just about getting the agent, it's about getting the work after that.
Okay, so now that you've found the agents that you want, the next logical thing is to start emailing these agents. But it's not as simple as just, hi, how are you?
G'day.
Obviously, this email, again, you have to think about it that they're getting tons of emails a day. And if you have to capture their attention in like 5 seconds, how are you going to do it? So, you know, you have your headshot, you have your SHOWREEL link, you have your CV in the email ready to go. You have your subject line and you have your email cover letter. In that cover letter, you're going to want to keep it short and simple, but have the important points in there. So if you're funny, if you want to go into comedy, you know, have something that's going to make them laugh in there.
Yeah. Show who you are.
Yeah, show your personality. Or if you're just wanting to go into drama, you know, maybe what's your experience? Like, have you worked with some interesting people? You could throw that in there. Have you gone into a film that's gotten into a festival? You know, putting those important points that are going to make you really stand out.
At the end of the day, it's just about promoting yourself, you know, and the things that you've done.
Yeah, and you still want to come across humble, you know, you don't want to be like, oh, I've done this and this, so you should hire me, you know. So also, like, I remember when I was submitting, I would also talk about how, because we do create our own work, I would say creating my own work has taught me the importance of teamwork and having a good relationship with who you're working with. And, you know, that's going to make them think, okay, maybe this person's a good person to work with as well.
Okay, so the final point that we'd like to make is to make sure that the email is also about the agency and it's not just about you. Because if you do your research on why you want to be part of it, then you should say it. I mean, that's what they want to know. It's a relationship. It's, you know, it's not just one person saying me. It's also, hey, I really like what you represent and I want to be part of that. And I think that's so important, and a lot of people miss that.
So I finally just want to touch on that sometimes this is a numbers game. You know, it's good to have a list of agents that you've researched, and you start by emailing the ones that you really want, and then if you don't really hear back after a while, then you move on to the next ones. And I'd also say like the best times to submit to agents. As a graduate, it's around like September, October when you're graduating and they're expecting all those graduate emails. But if you are not a graduate, it's good to submit around January to very early February when they're starting up again in the year.
So the other point is, you know, obviously with the territory of acting also comes rejection. And if they say that, you know, you're not right for the books or they don't get back, maybe it's just not for you.
Yeah, it might not be the right agent for you, or maybe you just need to upskill a little bit more, because it is a very competitive industry and you really want to be standing out and putting your best work forward.
Okay guys, so thank you so much for watching. Hopefully, you know, you have a few tips now on how to get an agent.
Yeah, and hope all goes well with submitting to get an agent. Remember, it's not the end of the world if you don't get booked. But yeah, hopefully these tips help you to get signed.
All right, we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you. Bye.